Hi, everybody. It's Mariah. I'm back. I'm aware it's been about a month since I posted last. I hope those of you who have heard it so far either enjoyed my song or can leave comments and telling me about what you may like or not like about it. Or if you're neutral, it's fine too. Anyway, away from the song subject, I hope you all are doing well. And I do have a subject I want to talk about today. And that subject is trans issues in the workplace. I know trans people aren't the only people who have issues in the workplace, but that's what I'm talking about today. Um, and I know the workplace. Jeez, do I have a mosquito bite? I think I do. I I'm also aware that the workplace is not the only place that trans people have problems. So wherever, excuse me, sorry, day off. I just woke up a little bit ago. A little bit ago. Um, but wherever you are, if you're trans or LGBTQ in any way, or an ally, this could apply as well. But today I'm specifically going to talk about trans. I'm going to start, I guess. Let me back up a little bit. In case you haven't noticed already, by the slightly worse quality, I finally got myself a computer. Yay! Um, this is going to allow me to record much longer videos without having to stop and go, okay, there's going to be a part two to this. I don't know where that voice came from. It totally sounded like someone else. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, I want to start by talking about two of my own experiences I've had at the workplace. They're both negative, but most of my experience has been positive. Um, anyway, to launch into the first incident that happened shortly before, actually, I'd say about 2 or 3 weeks before I posted my song. Um, excuse me. It was the end of the workday, and the across the walkway from the lobby that I usually wait in after work, there are two single occupancy bathrooms, a men's and a women's bathroom with lockable doors. So I decided I needed to use the bathroom because I really did have to pee very bad. But as I walked over there, there's a cleaning lady walking out of the men's restroom, and a man was walking in. And me, being a woman, I naturally veered directly toward the women's restroom. And right before I got my hand on the doorknob, this lady started going, "That's the ladies. Don't go in the ladies. That's the ladies' restroom. Don't you use the ladies. Don't use the ladies. That's the ladies' restroom." And instead of pausing to give me time to respond, she just kept going, "That's the ladies. Don't use the ladies. Don't go in the ladies." And I was like, "Okay, fine." I rolled my eyes and just went in anyway. And I heard her go, all right, well, we'll see about this. We'll talk about this." And the full maybe 3-ish minutes I was in there peeing and washing my hands, I heard her go get a security guard and come, right outside the door and go, "Are men supposed to go in the ladies' restroom?" And he goes, "Man in the ladies' restroom?" He said, the security guard said, "Well, is the other one occupied? Did he really have to go?" And she was like, "I don't know, but well, the other one is occupied, but I told him not to go in the ladies' restroom, and he just looked at me like F what I said. He just went on in, and he was like, all right, well, we'll talk to him when he comes out. Maybe he just really had to go." This security guard, by the way, seemed very understanding so far. So, as soon as I was finished washing my hands, I opened the door and walked right out and said, "Pardon me, first of all, that bathroom is occupied. Two, I identify as a woman." And she was like, She didn't say anything. She just made a face. The security guard, though, said, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We didn't know. You're good to go." So I walked back across the walkway to wait on my ride. And after about after between 5 and 10 minutes, I decided, you know, I've had a long day. She probably has too. Maybe I should just walk across the way and, before I have to go home, apologize to this lady for the misunderstanding, make the rest of her day a little bit better. So that's exactly what I tried to do. I walked back across the walkway and almost immediately saw her at an information desk talking to someone. So I stood back a few feet and waited while she finished her conversation. And finally she glanced my way and saw me, and she was like, "He must want to talk to you." Now I took this as unintentional misgendering. So I was like, "Well, but no, I just wanted to go ahead and No, you ain't got nothing to say to me. You ain't no woman. I don't see how you think you a woman. You got a beard, you ain't no woman." And I was just like, you know what? Fuck you, bitch. I said, I was just trying to apologize for a misunderstanding and be the bigger person, but since you want to be like that, move along. So that's when I went back across the walkway, and now whenever she sees me, she gives me the pursed lips. It's like she disrespected me. I don't get it. Anyhow, that was the first incident. Short and sweet, as was the second one. It was during the workday this time, and I went into a restroom. There was somebody standing there, and I didn't, at the sink washing her hands. She had just finished using the bathroom, obviously. But anyway, I went into a stall, and it was maybe about a full 40 seconds before I heard, "Sir, this is a ladies' restroom." And I was like, "Oh, I'm aware, madam. I'm transgender." She goes, "You what?" "I'm transgender." She goes, "You got a dick, don't you?" I was like, "What's that have to do with it?" "You got a dick, you should be in the men's restroom." And I was like, "No, lady, you're misinformed. I'm a woman." "You got a dick, you should be using the men's restroom." I was like, "I'm not going to tell you again. I'm a lady." And she was like, "You ain't no lady. You got a dick. You should." I was like, "You know what? Fuck you, bitch. Why don't you go in the men's?" And she was like, I can't believe you're just being so disrespectful." I'm like, "You can't believe I'm being disrespectful? Look in the mirror, you pig." And yes, that was a little overreaction, but she hushed her mouth from then on out. Anyway, that's short. That's my two incidents. But I'm glad that that's as far as transphobia has really gone to me in my workplace. There are people who might have it worse. Um, if you have a story to share about transphobia in your workplace or in your school or even on your neighborhood block, in your library, whatever, if you have a story to share about it and you would like to, go ahead and post a comment below. And tell me about it. I've heard horror stories about being trans in the workplace, but I've also heard much more positive, uplifting experiences. I have friends work for banks. I have friends that work for airports and warehouses like me. You know, I have friends in all sorts of workplaces that happen to be trans. And excuse me, why am I burping so much? And there came a cough. But they happen to be just grand where they are. Others are not so lucky. But yeah, like I said, if you have a story to tell, go ahead and leave the story down below in the comments, and I'll be sure to read it. And if you want me to read it aloud in my next video, or one of my next videos, I shall. This is probably not one of my best videos so far. I'm a little rusty. Like I said, it has been a month since I last uploaded, so forgive me. My content is going to get much better. I guess another thing I want to talk about as far as trans issues in the workplace are some of the uncomfortable questions that you'll get. Sometimes, unless you tell the person that question is uncomfortable, they'll keep asking. Like, questions like, what do you have down there? Or so what do you do in bed? You know, just curious. And they might be. But if that question is too personal for you, tell them. And because you don't have to answer any questions about being trans if you don't want to. However, I happen to answer a lot of them. Excuse me. But like, it's those questions are almost nothing compared to well, I don't care what you ask me to call you. I'm going to call you the name on your badge, because of course I have not had my legal name changed yet. And there's one person who keeps calling me by the name on my badge, and I'm like, that is not my name. You know, every now and then I'll respond. I'll be like, it is not my name. And if you keep calling me that, I will not respond to you. And most of the time I don't. Like, you know, I hate people like that. Well, I'm going to call you the name that your mom gave you. I'm going to call you the name that God gave you. One, God did not give me this name. My parents gave me this name. And God gave me the right to change it if I needed to. So, what's your problem? And I also love it, just love it, when people are like, well, why do you think you're a woman? And I'm like, well, you see, I may be born with a man's genetics, but my mind is wired as a female. Oh, well, then you're just an effeminate male. No, I'm not. You ask me how I know I'm a woman. The same way you do. It's just less obvious to you than it is to me. People don't understand this, especially in the workplace. I don't have to explain myself. Sometimes I want to. See, that's the issue. Also, like, I have friends that go, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. And I'm like, I know I don't have to. But I want to. And they go, you know, don't let these people get to you. Sometimes there's no such thing as letting something get to you. Sometimes things just do. And there's, you know, it's how you react. It's not whether or not it got to you. It's how you react, I believe. It's how you react that determines your thought process afterward. Partially, anyway. And this is just my unprofessional philosophical opinion. But that's just how I feel. Sometimes you have to react a certain way. Like the woman in the bathroom, I'm like, look, I'm a lady bitch, get over it. You know. And sometimes afterward, I wonder, was that the right thing to say? Depending on the situation, sometimes you will have an outburst. Even if you're the most calm individual and everyday general life, everybody gets pushed past a breaking point at some time or another. Especially minorities. Like, I almost put quotations on that, but I don't know if that'd be right. Like us, like trans people. You know, there's just some things you can't compare or you can't understand fully unless you are said thing. Trans people, bisexual or pansexual. You know, black people, Black Lives Matter, by the way. There are many people that there are many groups of people, that you could never understand what it's like fully unless you are there or have been. You can't understand what it's like to be exactly what it's like to be trans if you're not. You know, trans women, especially trans women of color, I might add, are being killed on the street almost every day. I forgot the count last year, but it was big. It was a big count, and a lot of us that were killed were homeless too. And I'll talk more about homelessness in a whole nother video. That's a whole nother subject. But anyway, yeah. Back on the subject of this video, though, trans people, we are, I guess we're considered a minority. Are we? I guess so. Yeah, I think so, because we're different, and we're not that different. We're not as different as people think, but that's why we're different, because we realize this. I'm trying to find a way to say it. Like, I know exactly what's in my head, but words won't form. I just can't form the words to tell people who don't understand how awful this can be, how messed up this is and has been for a very long time. We, as trans people, we tend to, I guess, test societal norms, and we tend to get a lot of shit, a lot of crap for just existing, just being who we are, all because people do not understand us. And in the workplace, I guess sometimes, depending on the workplace, you're a lot safer than you might be, say, homeless or out on the street in general, or really anywhere else. Like, this is, it's so messed up that people don't realize that we don't have the same rights as everybody else. We don't. I mean, sure, it's said. Oh, the government says you have the same rights. Oh, the government says. People can say anything. I'm sorry, people can say anything, and that does not make it true. Oh, it must be true if Donald said it. No. No, it's not. No, in fact, half of the things he says are pulled out of his ass. Or his face. I can't tell which one's which. Anyway, back on a lighter Well, back on the subject and a slightly lighter thing. I have surprisingly made a few people question what their thought process has been before, as far as being trans or even being gay. I said my first experience was telling somebody this is a gay male, but I'm not going to go into that story yet. I'm going to go a little further up to when I discovered I was trans and pulled a similar logic. Somebody was like, well, then, what made you choose to be trans? And why do you think you're a woman? Or why do you want to be a woman? Something like that. And I sat there and I went, so when did you choose to be a straight man? Well, I've chosen that since the day I was born. You chose before you were capable of making choices? That's not what I'm saying. No. Listen to me. I'm not fucking with you. I want you to hear me out. He's like, okay. I said, have you ever thought about being gay? No, but you chose to be straight, right? Oh, well, yeah. So, you have indeed thought about being gay in order to choose to be straight? Because you can't choose something without thinking about it. Even briefly. Even for a split second. And he goes, I never thought about it that way. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I said it that way. He was like, geez, I'm so sorry. He said, tell me all that you believe I need to know about being trans so I don't go out and offend people. And I was like, are you, did you just, he said, you just changed my whole perspective. I was like, wow. Oh, wow. Jeez, I'm sorry? He goes, no, don't be. I'm sorry. He said, please, I want to learn. And I was like, oh, I'm not the best teacher, but I can tell you in the best terms that I know if you have any questions. And we're friends now, by the way, that person and I. Um, um, so yeah, again, like if you have a story, even a story like that doesn't have to pertain to the workplace, I guess. You can leave a comment down below. God, that is one blurry hand. I don't know if you see it the same way I do. But, my camera might be in a different quality when it shows up on YouTube. Anyway, yeah, leave a comment or leave a story down below, and if you want me to read it aloud during one of my next videos, I will be glad. And like I said, so sorry that this video is not quite as good as a few of my others, but I'm a little rusty. It's been about a month. Give me a chance. Give me a chance, please. You're tearing me apart, Mira. Sorry. Markiplier nerd and video game person nerd like individual. I'm a nerd and I'm a fan of Markiplier. Anywho, I don't know what the hell that was. Anyway, I guess it's just about time to wrap up this video because I really don't know how much further to go and what else to say, but I'm excited to have this computer because let me tell you, I am so excited to have this computer. I'm so excited to have this computer. So excited I'm gonna beat you up. Sorry. Anyway, that just about wraps up this video. I've started veering off track into beating up the camera or the person behind it. Whatever. But anywho, I'm so glad I got this computer because it'll do so many other things besides, let me record longer videos at a time. It will also let me, like, if the TV in the living room is being used, it'll help me have a movie night either by myself or with a partner or a friend or whoever. I can write so much better on this phone, on this computer than I could on my phone. Because on this computer, I'm sitting here click-clacking on my keyboard and typing at however many words per minute I can muster, instead of sitting there going, the dog jumped over the fence. THE space DOG space JUMPED. Not oval, over. No, not overalls. Over. Anyway. Yeah. It'll allow me to write. It'll allow me to. Jesus. It'll allow me to Jesus. No, but I can do so many things with this computer that I can't do with the phone alone. Is that like Home Alone, but you're a phone operator trapped in your office? That actually sounds more like a psychological horror film. Anyway, um, that wraps up this video. Again, since we've veered off the subject of it here, but leave me a comment below if you'd like, telling me other subjects you might want to hear about, and I will take them all into consideration. That does not mean that I will talk about all of them. That just means I want to know what you think. And I will read my comments, believe it or not. The only reason I haven't been reading them is because I haven't had any. Well, I've had one or two, but I read them. And I responded to them. So, anyway, I hope that you have a great day, night, or afternoon, whoever and wherever you may happen to be. And until next time, this is Mariah Harper signing out. Mwah!